Elena Cruz stands outside the towering glass skyscraper of Bennett Co, staring up at the building that pierces the gray Boston sky. It's late fall, and the wind cuts through her thrift store blazer, making her pull it tighter. She clutches her worn leather bag, the one her mother gave her years ago, and takes a deep breath. This is it. Her chance to start over, to build something new after months of scraping by on part-time jobs and rejected applications. She pushes through the revolving door and steps into the marble lobby. The space gleams with cold elegance, all steel and glass, nothing like the warm chaos of her childhood home. A security guard nods at her, and she heads to the elevator, her heart pounding with each step. On the 14th floor, the administrative department sprawls before her. Rows of desks, sleek computers, and staff dressed in sharp suits fill the space. Elena smooths her skirt and approaches the reception desk, where a woman with perfectly styled hair and a sharp gaze looks her up and down. Before we jump back and tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. You're the new girl? The woman asks, her tone clipped. I'm Vanessa Blake, office manager. Follow me. Elena nods, forcing a smile. Nice to meet you. Vanessa doesn't return the smile. She leads Elena through the office, her heels clicking against the polished floor. This is your desk, she says, gesturing to a cramped corner near the copy machine. Don't expect much. We all started somewhere. Elena sets her bag down, noticing the stares from nearby coworkers. A man in a tailored suit leans against a cubicle, smirking. She looks like she just rolled out of a bargain bin, he mutters to Vanessa. Vanessa laughs, not bothering to lower her voice. Be nice, Mark. She'll learn. Elena's cheeks burn, but she keeps her head down, unpacking her few supplies. She thinks of her cousin Sophia, who always told her to stand tall no matter what people said. Elena silently repeats the advice like a mantra. The morning passes in a blur of paperwork and whispered conversations. Elena tries to focus, but the cold atmosphere makes her uneasy. Then, just before lunch, the elevator doors open, and a young man steps out with a golden retriever guide dog at his side. He's dressed casually in a sweater and jeans, his sunglasses dark against the fluorescent lights. He moves with quiet confidence, the dog leading him toward the CEO's private hallway. That's Liam Bennett, someone whispers behind Elena. The boss's kid. Poor guy. Another voice adds, dripping with false sympathy. Blind and stuck coming here all the time. Must be so helpless. Mark chuckles. Yeah, what's he supposed to do? File paperwork by touch. Laughter ripples through the room, and Elena's stomach twists. She watches Liam pause near the water cooler, his dog sitting patiently beside him. His expression is calm, unreadable, but something in the way he tilts his head makes her think he hears every cruel word. Elena's fingers tighten around her pen. She wants to say something, to tell them to stop, but fear holds her back. She's too new, too vulnerable. Instead, she looks down at her desk, guilt settling heavy in her chest. As Liam disappears down the hallway, Elena makes a silent promise to herself. She won't stay quiet forever. Elena spends the next few days learning the rhythms of Bennett Co. She files documents, answers phones, and endures Vanessa's condescending comments with quiet resilience. But through it all, she finds herself watching Liam Bennett. He visits the office 3 times a week, always with his guide dog, a gentle golden retriever named Atlas. While others see only his blindness, Elena notices the small details they miss. The way he navigates the hallways with practiced ease. How he tilts his head slightly when someone speaks, processing not just their words but their tone, their sincerity. The dry smile that crosses his face when Mark makes another thoughtless joke, as if Liam finds their ignorance more amusing than hurtful. On Thursday afternoon, Elena is organizing files near the conference room when Liam emerges with Atlas. 2 employees brush past him without acknowledgement, continuing their loud conversation about weekend plans. Liam pauses, waiting for them to pass, then mutters under his breath, "Yeah, don't mind me. Just part of the furniture." Elena's lips twitch into a smile. She hadn't expected him to have a sense of humor about it. Liam's head turns slightly in her direction, and she freezes. Can he sense her standing there? Something funny, he asks, his voice calm but curious. No. Elena hesitates, then decides honesty is better than pity. I just didn't expect you to joke about it. About people treating me like a ghost? Liam's smile is slight, but genuine. You learn to cope. Before Elena can respond, her phone buzzes, and she fumbles to silence it. In her distraction, she drops a stack of folders, papers scattering across the polished floor. Oh no, she breathes, kneeling quickly to gather them. Here, Liam says, crouching beside her. Atlas sits patiently as Liam's hands move methodically across the floor, finding papers by touch and handing them to Elena with surprising accuracy. You don't have to. I know, Liam interrupts gently. But I can help. They work in companionable silence for a moment. As Elena reaches for the last sheet, her hand brushes his, and without thinking, she signs "Thank you" in ASL, a habit from years of communicating with Sophia. Liam's fingers freeze. Then, slowly, deliberately, he signs back. You're welcome. Elena's breath catches. She stares at his hands, then at his face, which has broken into a genuine smile. You know ASL? My mother was deaf, Liam says quietly, switching back to speech. Before she passed away when I was 10. I've been using it my whole life. He pauses, his expression softening. You're the first person here who's ever signed to me. Elena's heart squeezes. My cousin Sophia is deaf. She taught me when we were kids. Then we have something in common, Liam says, standing and offering his hand to help her up. Elena takes it, pulling herself to her feet. From across the office, Vanessa watches them, her eyes narrowing. She leans toward Mark and whispers something Elena can't hear, but the suspicious look on Vanessa's face is unmistakable. Elena ignores her, focusing instead on Liam. I should get back to work, she says reluctantly. Liam nods, but before he turns to leave, he signs one more phrase. It's nice to finally be seen. Elena watches him walk away, Atlas guiding him confidently down the hall. Her chest feels warm, lighter than it has in days. For the first time since starting this job, she feels like she's exactly where she's supposed to be. That evening, sitting in her small apartment with a cup of tea, Elena texts Sophia. Met someone at work today. He uses ASL. Made me think of you. Sophia's response comes quickly. Tell me everything. Does he know how lucky he is to have you there? Telling and preparing this story took us a lot of time. So if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Elena smiles at her phone, typing back. I think we're both lucky. She sets her phone down and stares out the window at the Boston skyline, the lights flickering against the dark autumn sky. Tomorrow, she decides, she'll talk to Liam again. Not because she pities him, but because she genuinely wants to know him. And that, she realizes, changes everything. Monday morning arrives with an all-staff meeting in the main conference room. Elena takes a seat near the back, her notebook open, trying to blend in. The room buzzes with conversation as employees file in, coffee cups in hand, designer watches gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Liam enters with Atlas, moving toward an empty chair near the front. Several people shift away slightly, as if blindness might be contagious. Elena's jaw tightens, but she stays quiet, watching. Vanessa stands at the front, reviewing quarterly reports with Mark beside her. They're presenting the latest client acquisitions, speaking in the confident tones of people who've never been questioned. Midway through the presentation, Liam's phone vibrates. He reaches into his pocket to silence it, the movement natural and practiced. Mark pauses, smirking. Everything okay there, Liam? Need help finding the off button? A few people chuckle. Liam's expression doesn't change, but Elena sees his hand tighten slightly on Atlas's harness. Just making sure our mascot is comfortable, Vanessa adds, her smile sharp. After all, it's so brave of him to come observe how real work gets done. The laughter grows louder. Elena's stomach churns. She looks around the room, waiting for someone, anyone, to speak up. No one does. They're all too comfortable, too eager to join in, or too cowardly to stand against it. I mean, what does he even do here? Mark continues, emboldened by the reaction. Sit and look inspirational. Probably just soaking up the atmosphere. Someone from the finance team adds. You know, experiencing the vibe. Elena's hands curl into fists. She thinks of Sophia, sitting in a classroom years ago while kids mocked her deafness, making exaggerated hand gestures and laughing. Elena had been too young then to defend her cousin properly, too scared. But she's not that scared little girl anymore. She stands up, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. The room falls silent. all eyes turning toward her. Actually, Elena says, her voice steady despite her racing heart, Liam is the CEO's son, which makes him more qualified to be here than half of you. She looks directly at Vanessa. And calling him a mascot? That's not just unprofessional. It's cruel. Vanessa's smile vanishes. Excuse me. You heard me. Elena continues, refusing to back down. He's a person, not a punchline. Maybe if you spent less time mocking him and more time actually doing your jobs, you'd realize he's probably smarter than most people in this room. The silence is suffocating. Mark's face reddens, and Vanessa's eyes narrow into slits. From the front row, Liam turns his head toward Elena's voice, and slowly, deliberately, he raises his hand and signs, "Thank you." Elena signs back, "Always." Most of the room doesn't understand the exchange, but the gesture is clear enough. Vanessa's expression hardens. "This meeting is over," she snaps, gathering her papers. Everyone back to work. People file out quickly, avoiding Elena's gaze. She remains standing, her legs trembling now that the adrenaline is fading. As the room empties, Liam approaches with Atlas, navigating the chairs with ease. "That was either very brave or very stupid," Liam says quietly, a hint of a smile on his lips. "Probably both," Elena admits, her voice shaking slightly. "They're going to make your life hell now," Liam warns. "They already were." Elena shrugs. "At least now I can sleep at night." Liam's smile widens. He signs, "You're different from everyone else here." "Is that good or bad?" Elena asks aloud, though she signs the question too. "It's rare," Liam signs back. "And it's exactly what this place needs." As he walks away, Elena feels the weight of every hostile stare from the remaining stragglers in the room. Vanessa stands near the door, whispering urgently to Mark, both of them glancing at Elena with undisguised contempt. Elena gathers her notebook and heads back to her desk. Her hands are still trembling, but underneath the fear is something stronger, satisfaction. She'd found her voice, and she'd used it for someone who needed it. Later that afternoon, Elena finds a sticky note on her desk. "Clean out the supply closet. Every shelf. By end of day, VB." She crumples it in her hand, knowing this is just the beginning of Vanessa's retaliation. But when she looks across the office and sees Liam sitting in his father's waiting area, Atlas at his feet, she doesn't regret a single word. Some things are worth fighting for. The supply closet takes Elena 3 hours to organize, dust coating her blazer by the time she finishes. But she doesn't complain. She simply washes her hands and returns to her desk, ignoring Vanessa's satisfied smirk. The next day, during her lunch break, Elena sits alone on a bench outside the building. The autumn air is crisp, leaves swirling across the plaza. She's unwrapping her sandwich when she hears Atlas's gentle panting. "Mind if I join you?" Liam asks, standing a few feet away. "Please," Elena says, sliding over to make room. Liam sits, and Atlas settles at his feet. For a moment, they eat in comfortable silence, the city sounds filling the space between them. "You didn't have to defend me yesterday," Liam finally says. "Yes, I did," Elena replies simply. Liam turns toward her, his expression thoughtful. "Why? You barely know me." Elena considers this, watching a leaf tumble past. "My cousin Sophia," she begins. "When we were kids, people would mock her constantly. Make fun of how she spoke, imitate her signs like it was a joke." She pauses, her throat tight. "I was too young to really help her then. But she never let it break her. She taught me that people who can't see your worth aren't worth your time." "Smart cousin," Liam says softly. "The smartest," Elena agrees. She signs, "She's my hero." Liam smiles and signs back. "I'd like to meet her someday." They fall into an easy rhythm after that, signing and speaking interchangeably. Liam tells her about his mother, how she'd wake him with gentle touches and teach him to navigate the world through sound and touch and sign language. How after she died, his father threw himself into work, leaving Liam feeling like a responsibility rather than a son. "He loves me," Liam says quietly, "but he doesn't know what to do with me. I think I remind him too much of her, and of everything he couldn't control." Elena's heart aches. "You're not a burden, Liam. Tell that to everyone in that building," he says with a dry laugh. "I'm trying to," Elena responds, making him grin. Liam reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. "Can I get your number? It'd be nice to actually have a friend here." Elena's chest warms. "I'd like that." As they exchange numbers, Vanessa walks past on her way back from lunch. She stops, watching them with cold calculation, then pulls out her own phone and snaps a photo before hurrying inside. Elena notices, but says nothing. Whatever Vanessa is planning, Elena won't let it stop her from being Liam's friend. Same time tomorrow? Liam asks, standing. Absolutely, Elena says. As he walks away with Atlas, Elena feels something shift inside her. This job was supposed to be just a paycheck, a way to survive. But now it's becoming something more. It's becoming a place where she matters. By Friday, the whispers have started. Elena notices them immediately. The way conversations stop when she approaches, the sideways glances from coworkers who once ignored her entirely. At the coffee machine, she overhears two women from accounting. I heard she's only being nice to him to get to the CEO, one says. Smart move, actually, the other replies. Befriend the son, secure your position. It's calculated. Elena's hand tightens around her mug. She wants to turn and defend herself, but what's the point? They've already decided who she is. Mark appears beside her, refilling his cup with deliberate slowness. Careful, Elena, he says, his voice dripping with false concern. People are starting to talk. You wouldn't want the boss thinking you're using his son as a networking opportunity. I'm not using anyone, Elena says flatly. Sure, Mark smirks. That's what they all say. He walks away, leaving Elena staring at her coffee. The sabotage escalates throughout the day. Vanessa assigns Elena the most degrading tasks, scrubbing coffee stains from the break room floor, reorganizing the archive room in the basement, delivering documents to every floor personally instead of using the internal mail system. Consider it character building, Vanessa says sweetly when Elena picks up the latest stack of assignments. During lunch, Elena sits alone at her usual bench. The other administrative assistants who once nodded politely now eat inside, their laughter echoing through the glass doors. She unwraps her sandwich slowly, trying not to let the isolation sting. Footsteps approach, and she looks up to see Liam with Atlas. Relief floods through her. Heard you're the office pariah now, Liam says, sitting beside her. Welcome to the club. Elena manages a weak smile. It's not a club I wanted to join. But you joined anyway, Liam points out. By choosing to sit with me. That wasn't a choice, Elena says. It was just the right thing to do. Liam signs. That's why they're scared of you. Before Elena can respond, Mark walks past with two colleagues, deliberately loud. Look, the charity case found another charity case. How touching. The men laugh, but Liam doesn't flinch. Elena feels her anger building, but Liam gently touches her arm and signs. Ignore them. They're not worth it. That afternoon, Elena returns to her desk to find a formal written warning from Vanessa citing unprofessional conduct and failure to maintain appropriate workplace boundaries. It's vague enough to be meaningless, but official enough to sit in her file. Elena reads it twice, her hands shaking. She knows this is just the beginning. Vanessa is building a case against her, planting seeds of doubt that could grow into something worse. But when her phone buzzes with a text from Liam, "Thank you for today. You make this place bearable." Elena takes a deep breath and files the warning away. She won't let them win. Monday afternoon, Vanessa approaches Elena's desk with a clipboard and a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Elena, I need you to retrieve some old client files from the archive storage room. 4th floor, end of the east hallway. Elena nods, standing. Which files specifically? The Morrison accounts from 2019. All of them. Vanessa's smile widens. Mark will show you where they are. Red flags wave in Elena's mind, but she can't refuse a direct assignment. She follows Mark down the hallway, her footsteps echoing on the tile. The 4th floor is quieter, older, with flickering lights and a musty smell. Mark stops at a heavy door marked storage. In there, he says, pushing it open. Back left corner, bottom shelves. Elena steps inside the windowless room, shelves packed with bankers' boxes and dusty files. She moves toward the back, squinting in the dim light. Behind her, she hears footsteps and turns to see Liam entering with Atlas. Liam, what are you doing here? Mark told me my father needed me to sign something in storage, Liam says, confusion in his voice. Said it was urgent. Elena's stomach drops. Before she can respond, the door slams shut. The lock clicks with terrifying finality. No. Elena rushes to the door, twisting the handle. It doesn't budge. She pounds on the metal. Hey, let us out. Muffled laughter echoes from the other side, then fading footsteps. Elena's breath quickens. The room suddenly feels smaller, the air thicker. She turns to see Liam standing rigid, his hand tight on Atlas's harness. The dog whines softly. Liam. Elena's voice is gentle. I can't, his voice cracks. I need to know where the door is, where the walls are. I can't map this space. Elena recognizes the rising panic in his voice. She crosses to him quickly, placing her hand on his shoulder. Hey, it's okay. I'm here. I hate this, Liam whispers. Feeling trapped. Helpless. You're not helpless, Elena says firmly. She takes his hand and begins signing into his palm, the tactile version of ASL. We're going to be fine. I promise. Liam's breathing slows slightly as he focuses on her touch. What are you signing? Counting, Elena says softly. 1, 2, 3. Just breathe with me. They sit on the floor, backs against the wall. Elena guides Liam through the space with words and signs, describing the layout, the dimensions, giving him the mental map he needs. She tells him stories about Sophia, about growing up translating the world for someone who experienced it differently. You're good at this, Liam says after a while, his voice steadier. At being locked in storage rooms. He actually laughs. At making things less scary. An hour passes. Elena checks her phone. No signal. But she keeps talking, keeps signing, keeps Liam grounded. They share memories, fears, dreams. In the darkness, their friendship deepens into something unshakable. Finally, they hear footsteps. The door opens, revealing a confused janitor. What are you two doing in here? Elena helps Liam stand. Long story. As they emerge, she sees Vanessa watching from down the hall, disappointment flickering across her face. Elena meets her gaze steadily. They survived, and they're stronger for it. Richard Bennett sits in his corner office, reviewing quarterly reports, when his assistant Margaret enters with his afternoon coffee. Your son seems happier lately, she observes, setting the cup on his desk. Richard looks up, surprised. Does he? He was smiling in the elevator yesterday. Actually smiling. Margaret pauses. I think it has something to do with that new girl, Elena Cruz. Richard's pen stops mid-signature. He's heard the name before, seen it on hiring reports, but paid little attention. The administrative assistant? She's been spending time with Liam. Lunch breaks, mostly. Margaret's tone is carefully neutral. Thought you should know. After she leaves, Richard finds himself distracted. That evening, when Liam stops by his office before heading home, Richard notices the change immediately. His son's posture is different, more relaxed. There's a lightness in his expression that's been absent for years. Good day? Richard asks. Actually, yes, Liam says, and he's signing as he speaks, something he rarely does around his father anymore. Elena taught me a new sign today. Want to see? Richard watches his son's hands move with enthusiasm, and something tightens in his chest. When did Liam stop sharing these moments with him? Over the next few days, Richard observes discreetly. He notices Elena guiding Liam through the crowded lobby with quiet confidence. Sees them signing to each other during breaks, Liam's rare laugh echoing in the atrium. His son seems alive in a way Richard hasn't witnessed since before his wife died. But he also notices the whispers, the suspicious glances from senior staff. On Wednesday, Vanessa requests a meeting. Mr. Bennett, I hate to bring this up, Vanessa begins, her voice dripping with false concern. But there's been talk about Elena Cruz. Some employees feel her relationship with your son is inappropriate. Inappropriate how? Richard's voice is cold. Well, she's quite new, and already she's extremely close to Liam. Some wonder if she's using him to secure her position here. Vanessa slides a folder across his desk. I've documented several instances of unprofessional behavior. Excessive personal conversations during work hours, neglecting assigned duties. Richard flips through the file. The accusations are vague, the evidence circumstantial. But doubt plants itself in his mind anyway. Is this girl manipulating his son? That afternoon, he stands by his office window, watching Elena and Liam in the plaza below. She's signing something that makes Liam laugh, throwing his head back with genuine joy. Atlas's tail wags between them. Richard thinks of his late wife, how she'd always said that the people who truly see us are rare and precious. Is Elena one of those people? Or is she something else entirely? He picks up his phone and dials Margaret. Set up a meeting with Elena Cruz. Tomorrow morning. Private. He needs to know the truth. For Liam's sake, He needs to understand who this young woman really is, and whether her intentions are as pure as his son seems to believe, or if Vanessa's suspicions have merit. Elena receives the email at 8 in the morning. Meeting with Mr. Bennett. 10 a.m. His office. Mandatory. Her hands tremble as she reads it twice. She's never spoken to the CEO directly, never even been on the executive floor. At 9:55, she stands outside his office, smoothing her skirt with nervous fingers. Margaret gives her an encouraging nod. He's ready for you. Richard Bennett's office is vast, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Boston. He sits behind a massive desk, his expression unreadable. Miss Cruz, please sit. Elena lowers herself into the chair, her heart hammering. I'll be direct, Richard begins. I've been watching you with my son. Elena's breath catches. Sir, He raises a hand. Let me finish. Liam seems different lately. Happier. More confident. He pauses, studying her face. But I need to know why. What are you getting out of this friendship? The question stings. Elena straightens in her chair. I'm not getting anything out of it, Mr. Bennett. Liam is my friend because he's a good person who deserves to have friends. People don't usually befriend the CEO's son without expecting something in return. I'm not most people. Elena's voice shakes, but holds firm. I grew up with my cousin Sophia. She's deaf, and people treated her the same way your employees treat Liam. Like she was less than human. Like her disability defined her entire existence. Her eyes meet his. I know what it's like to watch someone brilliant be dismissed as helpless. Richard leans back, his expression softening slightly. Why didn't you mention you know ASL in your interview? Because it wasn't relevant to filing paperwork, Elena says. And honestly, I never expected to meet someone here who used it. Vanessa says you're neglecting your duties to spend time with Liam. Elena's jaw tightens. Vanessa gave me written warnings for having lunch breaks. That's hardly neglecting duties. She also says you're manipulating him. Manipulating him how? Elena's voice rises with frustration. By treating him like a person? By actually talking to him instead of talking around him. She takes a breath, forcing herself to calm down. Your son is lonely, Mr. Bennett. He's surrounded by people who see his blindness and nothing else. I see him. That's not manipulation. That's basic human decency. Silence fills the office. Richard stands and walks to the window, hands clasped behind his back. My wife used to say something, he says quietly. She'd say that the people who truly see us are gifts we don't deserve. He turns back to Elena. I want to believe you. But understand, Liam is all I have left of her. If you're lying. I'm not, Elena interrupts. And I won't. Richard studies her for a long moment, then nods slowly. Your actions will prove your words, Miss Cruz. I'll be watching. Elena stands, her legs weak. That's all I can ask for, sir. As she leaves, she doesn't see Liam standing just outside, his ear pressed to the wall, having heard every word. The quarterly presentation takes place in the largest conference room, packed with employees from every department. Richard Bennett sits at the head table with his senior executives, observing as various teams present their results. Elena stands along the back wall, her role purely observational. Liam sits near the front with Atlas, his expression guarded. He hasn't spoken to Elena since overhearing the meeting with his father 2 days ago. She's texted him twice. He hasn't responded. Vanessa takes the stage, her presentation polished and confident. But halfway through her financial analysis, she pauses and looks directly at Elena. Before we continue, there's a matter of company integrity we need to address, Vanessa says, her voice carrying through the room. It's come to my attention that one of our employees has been falsifying her credentials. Elena's blood runs cold. Elena Cruz claimed experience in business administration on her application. Vanessa continues, pulling up a slide with Elena's resume. But further investigation reveals significant discrepancies. She's also been documented engaging in inappropriate relationships with company family members to advance her position. Gasps ripple through the room. Elena's face burns as every head turns toward her. That's not true, Elena manages to say, her voice barely audible. Isn't it? Vanessa produces printed photos of Elena and Liam at lunch, during breaks, signing to each other. Using the CEO's vulnerable son to secure your job? That's manipulation, Miss Cruz. Richard's expression darkens. Vanessa, these are serious accusations. I have documentation, sir. Written statements from multiple employees. Vanessa's smile is triumphant. Elena's hands shake. She wants to run, to disappear, but her feet won't move. The room spins around her, hostile faces judging her from every direction. Then Liam stands. The room falls silent. Atlas rises with him, sensing his handler's tension. Liam's hands move deliberately, signing as he speaks with fierce clarity. "My name is Liam Bennett," he says, his voice strong. "I am blind, but I am not vulnerable. I am not a victim. And Elena Cruz is not manipulating me." His hands continue signing as he speaks. "She's the first person in this building who's treated me like a human being instead of a tragedy. She learned ASL for her deaf cousin, not to gain anything from me. She defended me when everyone else mocked me." Liam turns toward where he knows Elena stands. "And if anyone in this room thinks friendship requires an ulterior motive, then you've never had a real friend in your life." Elena's eyes fill with tears. She steps forward and signs back, "Thank you," her hands trembling but clear. Richard stands slowly, his gaze moving from his son to Vanessa. Understanding dawns across his face, followed by cold fury. "Vanessa," he says quietly. "My office." "Now." He looks at Mark. "You too." The room remains frozen as Richard strides out. Vanessa's confident mask cracks, fear flickering in her eyes. Liam walks to Elena, Atlas guiding him perfectly. He signs privately to her. "I'm sorry I doubted you." Elena signs back. "You had every right to." "No," Liam says aloud. "I didn't. You've proven who you are every single day." Around them, the office begins to understand what they've witnessed. Not a scandal, but the truth. By the end of the day, Vanessa Blake and Mark Peterson's desks are empty. Security escorts them from the building with boxes of their belongings, their faces pale with humiliation. Word spreads quickly. They've been terminated for harassment, falsification of reports, and creating a hostile work environment. The following Monday, Richard Bennett calls an all-staff meeting. Elena stands near the back again, but this time Liam is beside her, his presence a quiet statement of solidarity. "I owe this company an apology," Richard begins, his voice carrying through the packed room. "I built Bennett & Company on principles of excellence and integrity, but I failed to see when those values were being violated under my own roof." He gestures toward Liam. "My son has shown more courage in the past few weeks than many of us show in a lifetime. He faced mockery, cruelty, and dismissal, yet he remained dignified. And one person, one employee, had the integrity to stand with him when no one else would." Richard's gaze finds Elena. "Elena Cruz, would you please come forward?" Elena's heart pounds as she walks to the front, acutely aware of every eye on her. Richard extends his hand, and she shakes it, his grip firm and sincere. "You saw my son when others only saw a disability. You offered friendship when others offered pity. You risked your job to defend what was right." Richard pauses. "I'm promoting you to the position of Employee Relations Coordinator. Your role will be to ensure that what happened here never happens again." Applause erupts through the room, genuine this time. Elena's eyes blur with tears. "Thank you, sir," she manages to say. Richard turns to the room. "Let Elena's example remind us all. True vision has nothing to do with sight. It's about seeing people for who they truly are." Later, outside the building, Elena and Liam sit on their usual bench. The autumn air has grown colder, winter approaching, but the afternoon sun warms their faces. Liam reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small velvet pouch. "I wanted to give you something," he says, handing it to her. Elena opens it to find a silver charm bracelet with a single charm, a tiny guide dog. "It's Atlas," Liam explains. "To remind you that even in dark places, there are guides. You are mine." Elena's throat tightens. "Liam, I don't know what to say." "Say you'll keep being my friend," he signs. "Even now that you're fancy employee relations coordinator." Elena laughs, tears streaming down her face. "Always." They sit in comfortable silence, watching people stream past on the Boston sidewalk. Elena thinks about how much has changed in just a few weeks. She came to Bennett & Company looking for a job, expecting nothing more than a paycheck and a chance to survive. Instead, she found her voice. She found purpose. She found friendship that transcended barriers most people never even tried to cross. Liam signs one more phrase. "Thank you for seeing me." Elena signs back. "Thank you for letting me." As they stand to leave, walking together into the fading autumn light, Elena realizes that sometimes the greatest gift we can give another person is simply to recognize their humanity, to see past the surface, past the assumptions, past the limitations others impose, to truly see. Up next, we have two more incredible stories that are waiting for you. Just click the image you want to watch, and it will take you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot.